Thanks for downloading this episode from Teachers Talk Radio. You can find the full schedule and listen back to all our shows at ttradio.org. Enjoy the podcast.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to Teachers Talk Radio for a special preview of BETT Show 2025. We cannot wait for the next BETT Show. We've attended with Teachers Talk Radio for the last 3 years. It's been an immense experience from a networking point of view, from a learning point of view, and also the opportunity to be part of the EdTech ecosystem, for want of a better word, and the ability to mix and mingle with the great and good from the world of educational technology and the world of educational startups. So that's been incredible for us. And obviously, we're really, really looking forward to attending again this January, where you can actually come and visit us on the TTR stand. So we can't wait to meet you. Obviously, make sure you come and see us. Make sure you come and say hello. We're going to be conducting interviews all the way through the show. We've got some special live streams during the show. We're hopefully going to have some big interviews during the show. And of course, you can look forward to the special BETT Show podcast after it's all done. So if you can't attend, you can catch up on all the main things. As I mentioned, we've got a little preview today with Duncan Verry. I'm going to bring Duncan in now. Duncan, good day to you.
Hi, Tom. Nice to meet you. A real privilege to be speaking with you today.
Fantastic. Duncan is the portfolio director of BETT. So he knows everything there is to know about BETT Show, right, Duncan?
I'd like to think I know a bit, but this will be my first BETT in charge. I've attended many years ago as an exhibitor, and I've attended as a visitor or a delegate a number of times. But I joined BETT back in February, at the end of February. So this will be my first time. I think I was brought in because I've worked in education for so long, not as a teacher, but working for TES. I ran my own startup, which helped schools with digitizing supply teacher recruitment. So I've seen the education world from a number of different perspectives and angles. I've been a school governor as well. And I think the BETT team brought me in to try and understand a bit more of the agenda of education and to try and change our approach a little bit and provide more things, both at a sort of strategic level at the show, which you'll get from a lot of our content sessions, but also at a practical level in terms of the CPD training and opportunities to interact with the technology that we have. So I certainly don't know everything yet, but I've learned a heck of a lot in the 10 months that I've been here.
Brilliant. And obviously, for anybody who doesn't know, can you tell everyone out there what BETT Show is? Because there will be some people who don't have a clue what we're talking about from the outset.
Yeah, of course. So the BETT Show is the largest EdTech show in the world. And we think it may even be the largest education show in the world. 3 days in January, at the end of January, so 22nd to the 24th of January in 2025. So encourage all of your listeners to enjoy their Christmases, but start thinking about the year ahead. It's free for all educators to attend. And we get over 600 exhibitors there showing technologies that they will already have and will know: Microsoft, Google, Canva, Adobe, hardware providers, Dell, HP, but also lots of software-specific companies that are doing some unique things in education. Arbor, as an example of an MIS system. So over 600 companies are coming, and that's sort of trade show part of that. But obviously, we're surrounding that by a lot of content. We have lots of theatres. Very pleased to share that on the main stage this year, we have Stephen Fry talking about National Treasure to the UK, and somebody who's very knowledgeable in terms of tech and tech being used by humans and how you protect what's good about humans in terms of creativity and problem solving with tech and use of AI, which is starting to dominate every working environment. Um, but then we also have a number of other opportunities for teachers to learn. So we have something called Tech User Labs and table talks as well. So it's a whole a wide, diverse, exciting, energetic array of learning and visiting and playing with the technologies, but also sitting, listening, and horizon scanning for the future, but also understanding solutions that might solve immediate problems within the classroom right now.
What do you think what is the unique value of an event like BETT in your view?
Yeah, I think it's very rare that teachers and schools get time to think, and they didn't go into teaching uh, to really have to think long and hard about technology. But technology has become an increasingly dominant part of teaching in schools. It's a real rare opportunity, and say the most dynamic physical marketplace of technology to meet, exchange ideas with peers, see the technologies in action, and start to think about how you can apply them in the classroom to help deliver better outcomes. Um, so I think it's really important. Tech's not going away. The products that are being built now for schools and within education are very much built with teachers in mind and with teachers involved, and much better. And I think it's really important that teachers can get out of the classroom and really understand the tech that's out there and think about how they can apply it to the challenges they have with it. Doing this at scale and with the breadth and depth of technologies, but also opportunities to learn and play with those technologies. I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Duncan. I was wondering if you could tell me though a little bit because you mentioned table talks at the beginning. Can you tell me a little bit about them? Because I really enjoyed them last year. I thought they were excellent. But tell the listeners what that is. And I'll be honest with you, we've sort of copied you a little bit. The teachers talk, and they were so good that we've started doing our own version of table talk. So tell everybody what they are.
That's excellent. I'm all for more and more peer-to-peer networking and learning. I think by their nature, teachers have a fairly unique job and like learning from other teachers and sharing issues, challenges, ideas with other teachers. And that's the premise for Table Talks. So last year it operated in a big hall downstairs from the exhibition stands at BETT. Had I think 100 tables, each could sit 10. And when you register, you get a chance to register your interest in certain topics that are being discussed at the table. Um, and it seemed that it was a hugely cathartic, therapeutic exercise for teachers
Mm.
who, unsurprisingly, but probably with a great degree of comfort, found that some of the issues they're facing as a rural primary school teacher in the UK are similar to those of a secondary school teacher in the Middle East or a primary school teacher in India. Some of the challenges are the same, right? But schools and individuals and school systems the world over are approaching these problems sometimes in different ways, and there are learnings to be gained. You know, a problem shared is a problem halved. So yeah, there were some really interesting discussion topics. So we're just about to launch. We've spoken with the BETT advisory board, who are all practicing teachers, very experienced teachers, to make sure we get everything that we do in these content sessions right. And we've got the topics, which we will publish shortly, but people can register, sign up for the table talks. Again, they're free for educators, and get matched with a group which has enough differentiation to present different ideas, but enough commonality that you're not sat with lots of people from completely different school systems or different parts of the world. So yeah, there's a little bit of sort of intelligent matching going on to get a group of 10 together with a topic. Somebody may be appointed as a moderator, but it's from within that group. And yeah, what we find is the conversation flows, and there's a lot of excitement and energy and learning that comes from it.
I also like that idea of, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong here as well, but in the table talks, it's not necessarily full of, sponsored content. It's very much around sort of discussing issues that matter to teachers, whether within the EdTech world or beyond.
Yeah, no, we've deliberately, and will continue to do so, keep sponsors and exhibitors well away from table talks. There might be one sessioning happening this year, which will be like a table talks for children, where actually they get to sit at the table and play with some of the technology, or undertake some of the products, and these will be worksheets. I think it's a company that provides worksheets, because we're also conscious that teachers that bring school groups, they need meaningful learning activities for the children as well. I think that's the only involvement for sponsors. But yeah, table talks is one of those things we just do for free because, as I always say, in the vast room that is the Excel and at BETT, we have government decision makers, policy makers. We have the biggest and some very small, unique, innovative tech vendors. We have school leaders of all levels. So from the curriculum side, from the strategic side, from the financial side, we have classroom practitioners. All of the people are in that room that can contribute to solving all the problems that exist. And the more we can do to get them talking to each other, sharing ideas, learning, collaborating, discovering, I think can help that knowledge transfer, which is so important. So yeah, Table Talks is one of our initiatives to try and facilitate that.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Don't miss out. Level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles. Use the code JCTTR2425 for 20% off your order. Happy reading.
Parentkind are a national charity representing parent views and voice and championing parental participation in education and school life. By fostering strong school-parent partnerships, we can boost student attendance, improve behaviour and enhance academic performance. When parents actively participate, students thrive. Join the movement that's reshaping education for the better. Visit parentkind.org to learn more about reaping the rewards of working in partnership with parents.
Are your teachers juggling multiple technology platforms and struggling to keep everything organised? Then Toddle might be the answer. Built by a team of ex-educators, Toddle offers an all-in-one solution for teachers that streamlines everything, from curriculum planning and assessments to communication and report cards. And the best part? Toddle comes inbuilt with an AI assistant that helps teachers save time and improve their practices. 85% of schools replaced 3 or more platforms when they brought in Toddle. Teachers using Toddle say that the platform helps them save up to 10 hours a week. That means more time for what really matters, supporting students and driving academic success. See how Toddle can support your school. Visit toddleapp.com.
Hey education changemakers, ready for something special? It's BETT Show's 40th anniversary and we're throwing a free celebration just for you. Join us at London Excel from January 22nd to 24th to connect, learn and be inspired. Picture this, 300 plus speakers who truly get it, 600 cutting edge edtech companies and all the fresh ideas you need to make 2025 your best year yet. So why wait? Head to uk.bettshow.com, grab your free ticket and come celebrate with your peers. Because this is for you. See you at BETT.
Fantastic. And there's also the Tech User Labs. Now, tell me about those. Tell me about Tech User Labs, because again, these have generated a lot of interest over the last few years as well.
Yeah, Tech User Labs are a really exciting, growing aspect of BETT. So in January 2024, that BETT, we had 12 Tech User Labs. So it started as an idea that the tech vendors were coming to us saying, look, we have lots of new products coming down the pipe for teachers, but we know that some of the products that we already have out there that they're not using all of the functionality for those products. And we think there's more within those products that they could use to save them time or get better outcomes. So we said, well, how about we run masterclasses? And that's effectively what they are. So you will have people from Microsoft or from Google or Adobe, the common technologies that many people have within their school tech stack and are using on a daily basis. And people from those tech vendors will stand at the front and just help you unlock some of that functionality. So most of the teachers are attending with their laptops and they sit in a room, about 100 to 150 in a room, and they're discovering how to use Copilot in Microsoft better, how to use Gemini in Google better, with some real life examples of how it's being used within the teaching world, and how to save a bit of time, or did you know it did this? And those are really sort of interesting CPD sessions for teachers, because we know, and we run an AI report where we surveyed 1,000 teachers, and so little attention is paid to tech training. So lots of technologies can get implemented, but if the training isn't there, they get left on the shelf or unused or not used to the best of their ability. And probably the reason that I took the job as portfolio director as BETT, I could see the advances in technology, and with AI coming, it's frightening the pace at which the quality of the technology and what it can do that comes out from some of the leading vendors. But the teachers just haven't got the time to sit down and do all of the tech training that's required to get a good understanding. So we said, well, we need to provide that. Again, free for teachers. This is paid for by the vendors. They want teachers using their technology to the best of its ability. We've also brought some of those vendors into our studio that we have in the basement and recorded digital Tech User Labs. They're all available on YouTube for free. So it's people who've worked in classrooms telling you, have you seen this little bit in Microsoft Teams? Have you seen this within Google Classroom? And specific aspects, short, bite-sized bits of learning. We want to help teachers unlock the functionality that exists within the current tech to help save time, improve outcomes, and just make their difficult job of teaching much, much easier, which is what tech sets out to do.
Yeah, I was going to say that, within a suite, for example, Google, Microsoft, as a teacher myself, still teaching, I do sort of sit there and think, blimey heck, I'm not really utilizing these technologies, simply because I don't know is part A, but also B, I just haven't had the time to actually explore the suite and utilize them. And I do feel like I'm wasting sort of, a lot of the technologies that are available to me. So I think a session like that would be super useful to me. I'm sure it'd be useful to a lot of teachers. I think a lot of them would be interested in things like that.
You're absolutely right, Tom. I'm the same with my iPhone. I think I probably use the 30% of the functionality. I'm sure I'd be a better manager and probably a better father and better husband if I used a bit more. But I don't sit down and work out how to use half of the apps that are already installed on there, and just keep reverting to my favorites. But if you can just unlock just a few percentage points of the functionality that's there, there can be some real golden nuggets that can help save quite a lot of time, or improve what you're doing in the classroom.
For sure. Now, obviously, a big part of BETT Show, because as I said, I've attended 3 or 4 times now myself, and a huge part of it is networking. A huge part of it is the ability to meet and connect with other people, which leads me lovely onto Connect at BETT. So this is, we've talked a little bit about table talks, tech user labs. What about Connect at BETT? Tell us a little bit about that element.
Yeah, we obviously connections at a show. You have to be very careful with GDPR, but Connect at BETT is really a tool that is aimed at the buyers, or anyone that's interested in seeing technologies. BETT's big, and it can be daunting because of the sheer volume of technology vendors and solutions and products that are there. And we know time is short for teachers. So we wanted to maximize the time. That return on investment and return on time for teachers is so important. So if you use Connect at BETT, which you can access through your registration, you may get pinged by a number of the tech vendors who have seen not your details, but that you have expressed interest in. These are the sorts of technologies I'm interested in seeing or hearing more about. And then it's a double opt-in process, that if that company and their profile is sent to you and you think, actually, yeah, I do want to see that particular maths app, opt in as a return, and it will automatically set up a meeting on a day within your schedule and start to fill out your schedule so you can maximize your time by saying, look, when I signed up, I said I was interested in seeing maths app, a payment system for parents, whatever it might be, and you will then get suggestions and notifications from those vendors. There's a bit of potted history about them, and you can sort of pre-arrange that meeting. So
basically, it's streamlining the networking with businesses, with exhibitors, with showcases. It's maximizing the opportunity to connect and network with those people, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we also know one of the first things we're doing this year that we haven't done before, we are also aware that a lot of people, well, not a lot, but many people sign up to BETT but can't attend for any reason. Ofsted turn up, there's a safeguarding issue, the cover you had plan changes, all sorts of circumstances can get in the way of attending BETT. But we're still going to try and nurture those connections, because we don't want people not being able to attend BETT, but still being left with the problem they have, that they're still looking for that maths app, they're still looking for that parent payment system. Whatever it might be, we know there's a rich and diverse world of solutions out there, and we want to make sure that teachers can get easy access to those without having to search, cross-reference, or verify, but know that they've been trusted exhibitors of BETT.
Fantastic. So listen, I mean, thinking back to the last BETT, or thinking back to the most recent BETT show you've attended, because I know is the BETT in Asia as well. I think there's different BETTs around. I'm not sure when the last one you attended would be. Would it be last?
It was BETT Asia, so that was the first BETT that I was responsible for. So we have BETT Asia, which is the first week of October, 2 days in a very hot but a very rainy Kuala Lumpur, which serves a lot of the Southeast Asia community. And then we have BETT UK at the end of January, 22nd to 24th in 2025. And then we have BETT Brazil as well, which takes place at the end of April. I got to go to BETT Brazil in April of this year, but really just as an observer. I'd started, but got to meet the BETT Brazil team. And now I think we decided it was a good opportunity for one person to have a single view of all of those BETTs across the world and start linking up and sharing the knowledge that we get from teachers and the questions that they have and the changes happening. And there's some really interesting things. So the law has just changed in Brazil, which means that schools have to be much more accessible to pupils, whereas before they could be much more selective if children had specific needs. That's a real significant step, and would seem very strange to the UK, where we've been inclusive for so many years. But the laws just changed in BETT Brazil, so they're really trying to get their heads around inclusivity, accessibility, what's it going to mean for staffing, one-to-one support, teaching assistants, learning support assistants, the different technologies. And we've got a role to play in saying, well, actually, we know lots of good companies and schools and experts from our BETT community in the UK that can help with that. And this way, with these sort of 3 footprints that we have around the world, we can help be a catalyst to try and share some of that knowledge and some of the practical solutions that exist to help.
Spot on. I mean, that sort of links into what I was going to ask you, because I was going to sort of touch on the sort of digital literacy gaps that there are in the world, in certain professional communities, and that extends to every country in the world, really. So it's how BETT is adding to that and facilitating to that. I mean, I can bring in my own thing, is that, you know, I've attended many sessions at BETT personally, which have been free for me to attend, which have led to impact within my classroom from a tech point of view. So obviously there's that, but I wondered, you know, is that what you'd point to, or is there a wider thing that BETT's doing to impact educational practice?
Yeah, I think, well, there's 2 things. For me, that experience of yours is the most important. You know, I want classroom teachers, practitioners to come to BETT and feel that they learn something, and we're confident that they are, that they can put into the classroom tomorrow or very soon. And we have an innovation theatre where we have many more teachers speaking this year. And I know one of them is, I think, teaching algorithmic maths to pre-prep students. I mean, like 3-year-olds. And I'm thinking, okay, who would choose to do that? But he does it through the use of Lego, and says, look, no, if you use Lego in this way, you are training that brain muscle to prepare it for thinking in terms of algorithmic maths, which has great implications for software development, future careers, that sort of stuff. But starting a very early day, he learnt those ideas from content sessions that he attended at BETT, went back to his school, changed a few things, introduced a few new technologies or products, and has done that. Now, on a macro level, we're really pleased this year to have become part of UNESCO's Global Education Coalition. So this is a number of typically global companies and NGOs who are committed to doing something to solve that digital literacy gap, and make the access for technologies, the availability, the understanding of them, much more readily available for students, children, schools, wherever they may be in rural parts of the world, and that's really important to us. You know, we talk at Hive about making game-changing impact through our events. There are certain things that happen in the excitement of a 3-day event like BETT, for sure, but the ripples will extend much further beyond BETT, and the results and the learnings, we hope, make huge impact. But we want to continue to do that. It's we're in education, and we don't take that lightly. And we think that we can play a role to make education better globally through the impact that we have and addressing things at a macro level. But for me, it always starts with, okay, what is the classroom teacher going to learn when they come into BETT? Are they going to find a solution that they can see it's going to help them? Can they take inspiration and hope from another teacher that has used that? And that I think is almost as powerful and important to us.
I mean, I wanted to ask you actually about any example you've got of an innovation or a connection or something that was almost made at BETT. Is there anything you can think of where you go, that was us, we did that?
Yeah, well, I'll just sort of draw upon again the experience of the deputy head of the sort of pre-prep school. I was surprised, but he said, no, I learned so much at BETT. I went back and I changed everything that I did, and he's coming back to explain that. And obviously, it's a year later, so we'll be able to explain this is the impact that it's making. There are so many schools that we hear great things about, and what I would say, one new addition to BETT this year is we have a live classroom. So we built a classroom in BETT, and we are getting a junior school, a secondary school, and a special school to come in and teach lessons, because we know they are very good users of tech. And there's a small viewing gallery, but the children will be there. They'll be just doing normal lessons, as it appears to them, although they'll be in the very big Excel hall.
What age will they be, Duncan?
So there's a junior school, and a secondary school, and a special school. I don't know the exact ages of the classes, but we're covering all of the phases.
Selected for that? Are they from local schools, or what?
Yeah, we approach them. It's not a sort of prize or award. I think we're leaning on them to say, look, we hear you do great things with tech at your school. Can we come and see? We went to see and said, this really is incredible. And then we started sort of seeing the idea. That for me can be a bit of the missing link. It's great listening to presentations, and it's also great learning how to use tech within the tech user labs. But sometimes people want to see, well, I want to see children interacting with it. How is this taught? How do they react? Can they comfortably do this? And it gives them a great deal of confidence and comfort that that can be replicated within their own class.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. I mean, what without stating the obvious here, AI is everywhere, isn't it? I think for some people they're starting to feel a bit sort of sick of it already. But on the other hand, it is a reality now, and it is growing at such a rate of speed, and the growth of new apps and new opportunities and new developments. I wondered, just generally speaking, what are the trends that are emerging for 2025 for BETT? Is it all about AI? Are there other trends emerging? Perhaps you could tell us what's going to emerge, from AI into 2026, perhaps. But what are you seeing at the moment?
Yeah, I think it is very prominent. We deliberately tried this year to not make everything about AI. There are a number of other things going on within classrooms about devices.
How dare you say anything other than AI happening in technology?
Devices, accessibility, recruitment and retention of teachers, big macro level issues affecting school systems all over the world. But we cannot deny that technology has its kind of own superpower right now, which is AI. I've sort of coined the phrase, I think it's like a weapon of mass production, in that the ability for output is huge, and that's the game-changing impact we all hope that it will make. But it's frightening. It's dependent on the inputs, and they could come from a variety of sources. So absolutely be careful in terms of what you use and the outputs that you get, and how you apply them. I think for me, I can't sit here and predict all of the trends that are going to happen
No.
with AI. I think there's clearly some nervousness about it. So we released our recent global AI report, say after researching 1,000 teachers in the UK, and 39% of schools are using AI at the moment, which that was encouraging, I think, because it's still in its relatively early phases, but growing very fast. And probably there are some school leaders waiting for a bit of guidance, governance on how they should use it. What I get really encouraged by is seeing use of AI in non-learning, non-teaching related disciplines or activities within schools.
Yeah.
Timetabling, those things that take up a lot of administrative time. There are ways that AI can be used to save that time, so more of that time can be pointed at quality teaching. It was
sure.
universally, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say the ones I've seen that have been interesting have been things around attendance, AI with attendance, AI with almost like, I hate to say the stuff I consider to be the boring stuff, but other people love it, right? They geek out over it. For me, it's like my worst nightmare. But time saving, attendance, school trips, there's a lot of sort of avenues there that AI can be incredibly effective, even beyond, I was using Claude AI last week to actually mark and to develop mark schemes and to, obviously, this is the thing, I've had to tweak them. I've had to sit there and actually work on it. I couldn't just input into the AI and say, "Oh, Bob's your uncle." I think there's a bit of a danger of that happening across the board. When I've done that with lesson plans, for example, you get something that, despite how good and impressive the AI is on the surface, sometimes you get something quite generic out as an output from a lesson planning standpoint. But however, I have seen things like Toddle, for example, where when you plan, they will give you resources. So they'll give you either links to resources or they'll create resources. There's loads of others that do that. Teachmate AI. There's a ton of there's literally probably about 50, right, that can do that. But obviously they all offer a slightly different, unique perspective. AI tutors is one that I've seen being developed, which has got a really interesting, I think, trajectory. That's going to be really interesting. And obviously in the end, that'll replace me. Obviously, no, it won't really. Well, it could. But what I wanted to, that's AI. We could talk about AI for an hour, Duncan. We're not going to do that. I want to ask you, it's running out of time. So I want to ask you just the last sort of, it's two questions in one. Part A, why should somebody attend BETT 2025 in January 22nd to the 24th at the Excel Centre? Why should somebody attend it? What makes it really unique and really amazing? I could talk about that, but I want you to tell me. And the other thing is, if you were to have to choose one thing in the 2025 BETT show, one potential innovation or potential discussion or potential speaker, if you were to choose something, you've already mentioned Stephen Fry, but if you were to mention something, what would it be? How are you enticing people to attend this event?
Okay, that's two great questions. And again, I'd probably need, if I was doing my job properly, I would need a day to answer those, to promote that. Why should people attend? Look, I genuinely think whether you're a classroom teacher, you can go and get CPD accredited learning, either using tech or all of our content sessions end up being CPD accredited. So there's lots of learning to be done that can help you in the classroom immediately. For the school leader or buyer who's has a gap, a need, there's the biggest collection of EdTech technologies from all over the world as well, under one roof. Okay, so there will be a solution to your problem through tech if you are seeking one. And you can get to play with the technology, you can get to understand the full product roadmap and meet the key decision makers, the people who are running education from Microsoft from the States are there, and all of the other big companies that we work with. So there really is something for everyone. Please bring school groups. If you can't get cover, bring school groups. We have BETT Big Assembly this year as well. So we're running a big assembly. We'll have 1,000 children in the main arena for assembly being run by Tech She Can, about careers in tech and use of tech. So really, it's just full of exciting things to learn and do and listen, and lots of takeaways. And hey, it's our 40th birthday, right? BETT's been around 40 years, since technology was very different, and there's going to be a bit of a celebratory feel. In terms of one thing I might pick out, I think Stephen Fry is going to be exciting. He's going to be interviewed by Anne-Marie Imafidon, who, again, a very tech pioneer herself with the STEMettes. So that's exciting. It's not hugely confirmed yet, but I'll leave this as a little bit of a teaser. We may be getting some of the, as it's our 40th birthday, we're very much a company that likes to look forward. You can't help but do that with technology, but we might indulge a little bit and look slightly back and get some of the previous education secretaries of state on stage. Think, okay, what's happened since you were in charge? That might be an interesting little look back. That's not all confirmed, but those are the sorts of things we're thinking about. Look at the journey. Look, I'm hugely encouraged, right? Teachers, the internet came, they took it on. It was disruptive, certainly when it got onto devices, but they've handled it and embraced it. Cloud computing came along and probably forced to use cloud computing during COVID and a move to very remote cloud-based way of working. But teachers are so adaptable, and I think they'll do the same with AI. But BETT remains one of the best places to learn what's coming next, what's out there, what can be used to help you immediately, what's coming in 6-12 months' time, and start thinking about how you can adapt that to the classroom and to suit the very tech-savvy children that they're teaching.
Duncan, that's absolutely fantastic. So listen, viewers and listeners, you can grab your BETT ticket at the BETT website. Just head over there right now, 22nd to the 24th of January at Excel London. And yeah, if you want to experience everything we've just discussed in the last 40 minutes, then definitely head there. I highly personally recommend it, but also Teachers Talk Radio recommends that you grab yourself a ticket. And if you can, get over there even for a day, an afternoon, whatever you can afford as a teacher or school leader, it's well worth checking out. Duncan, thanks ever so much for your time today.
Thank you, Tom.
Really look forward to chatting again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Outstanding and world-class vision, world-class this.
I'm a real leadership geek, honestly. I've spent my whole career reading books and chatting to people.
I just find the whole thing and the announcement, the way it's been announced, bizarre.
If you could move away from a model where teachers are so intensely focused.
You've been listening to Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live and listen back at ttradio.org. We look forward to hearing from you next time on Teachers Talk Radio.